nigga said we going to Versus, so I gotta get fitted up. I knew you changed your fit.
No, actually, I didn't. This is all I had this weekend. I was home this weekend. This is all I brought. So.
Oh, like a transcript?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. You only brought one outfit for the whole weekend?
Yeah, because we didn't do anything. It was just
what
Friday
you was over
night.
there for?
I go over there every weekend to say what's up, say hey.
Got it. Cool. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Too Many Ideas Podcast, episode 44.
Yeah.
And continue to watch, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I wanted to start with this whole Roddy Ricch situation. Have you been hearing about that?
A little bit about it.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Roddy Ricch dropped a new song snippet. I guess he's working on new music after the reception of his last album, which wasn't good.
Yeah.
Didn't really do well numbers wise, and people weren't really liking it a lot. So he dropped a new snippet previewing some new music, and they got shitted on.
Yeah.
Like bad. Like everybody who was responding to that song was just like, yeah, this isn't good. Oh, you can keep it. Oh, he's falling off. Oh, he fell off. And he deleted all of his socials after that.
Wow.
Yeah. He was just like, he put out a post. He was just like, damn, I guess I'm a flop. And he deleted everything. And I kind of wanted to talk about that in the frame of being a fan, like, of someone's music, or being a fan of artists, or being just like a fan of music in general, and how that affects how you interact with these artists as they're like putting out music. Because I think there's a balance that we don't really have with that. But at the same time, because when you put something out into the world. We talked about it on this podcast before. You put something out, the people get it, and they decide how they feel about it. You know, so you don't really, once you put it out to the world, you gotta kind of like take what comes with it. But at the same time, I think that as fans, we can sometimes like get entitled a little bit. You know, whether it's that, because I was hearing from Creased as well, like it's him, it's like four people. It's him, of course, it's the baby, and then there's Polo G, which really surprised me because I thought a lot of people like Polo G. But they were saying that, you know, people are kind of like starting to get off him because he makes, kind of in the same frame of the baby, he makes the same kind of music each time out. Yeah. And I'm just like, in Roddy's case, where the music might not be hidden the same as it was before, like, I might be able to understand that just a little bit more, even though it's still like the same thing applies, you know. But with the Polo G situation, you know, his music has been doing well as far as I know, you know, numbers wise, success wise, all that kind of stuff. So the criticism, while there might be some truth to it, I feel like sometimes people can get a little bit over the top or like ahead of themselves to just kind of like get like real entitled to someone doing what they specifically like. Yeah,
100%. Because it's just like, that balance is hard to find. Because it's like, can we really get mad at Roddy Ricch for making a Roddy Ricch song? Or like sounding like Roddy Ricch? Yeah. Or like DaBaby making a DaBaby song sounding like DaBaby? Yeah. You know, and that's what's like happening. And like, as a fan and receiving stuff like this, like, we're not entitled. Like, I guess there's like a little bit of both parts into it, as being like the fan and being the artist, you know, because it's just like, of course you can make the art and put it out and not care like what anybody thinks, and or just like kind of take things more so with a grain of salt than more personally, or and of course it's hard to do that, especially with certain things if you're especially if you put like actual, like, you really think like, oh, this is it, or I'm really putting myself into this, you know, this is the real me or whatever, and people don't like it, or it's not well received, you know, that could be a little tough. But I also think on the opposite side of the spectrum is like, as the fans, it's just like, we don't need to, like, like be as entitled as we feel to to say like so many things that we say, you know, interact with each other the way that we interact, you know, and it's just like.
And I will say, you know, because did you hear the snippet?
I didn't. Unfortunately,
okay. Yeah, I heard the snippet. I listened to it yesterday, I think it was, and I will say I wasn't like. It wasn't the greatest like thing that I've heard from him, but if I'm taking that and I'm also going back to the album, you know, a lot of people said like, yeah, this album just like it's trash, like it's really bad. I didn't really feel like that about the album overall. You know, I felt like it was decent, but I feel like where I start to have like, I guess like a problem with it is that a lot of fans look at Project Number One that did so big, so well, his rookie project, you know, what the fuck was it called?
The Antisocial one?
Yeah, that one. I can't remember the actual full title right now, but yeah, the Antisocial one. But and they're just naturally, our whole natural thing is to compare everything to everything else, and I think that, you know, it's a little bit unfair to a point, because I think if we get this album first, if we switch it around, you know, like let's say that the album he just dropped
was the first,
was the first one to drop, and we hear that that's his first outing, I feel like the reception would have been totally different,
completely different,
you know,
because that's like the new perception of him.
It may not have been like, oh wow, this is crazy, like the best thing he's ever done, but I think that people would have looked at it and appreciated it a little bit
definitely
more.
Would have been like, okay, we should probably keep an eye on him to see what he does next.
Yeah, and then he drops the next one and it's like, oh, he's really him. Like, and you look at that first project and it's more of like a, oh yeah, he's built, that was him building on something, and it would probably even make people like that first project even more.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I think it's just because they feel like he's taking kind of a step back, you know, and there's like a thing about artists and their sophomore albums and how they typically have like a slump on their sophomore album, you know.
But I mean, it's just like, it's nothing new, like you said, because it's like a typical thing. And I'm just like, for some reason, like this weekend, I'm like really triggered about just a lot of things like we're doing on like social media, like in general, as like as a collective, and I don't know, just some of the stuff that like I've been like kind of seeing is just like, and like what we're feeding ourselves is like content. It's just like a lot of it's like, it irks me sometimes, like a little bit, and right now specifically I'm irked because dealing, like, I recently followed, like, actually have been paying attention and following like DJ Academics and stuff on but that's kind of like the stuff that, like, the way he words like stuff and the content that he like puts out is very like, and it's purposeful, like the way he words things and like what he brings attention to as like as an account, you know, and
I mean, he's very divisive. That's like his whole platform.
Yeah, you know, and so is like just that divisiveness, and I'm saying him specifically because he's like the main one that I can think of. That is just like, you know, it's like, what do we think about this thing that doesn't involve us? You know, to get people, like, to get clicks, or, you know, to get people like talking about it or whatever. And I just think that whole concept is like very like, it's too much. Like we're definitely like completely saturated, like completely saturated and all that type of stuff. And it's funny because I watched Aziz's new comedy special that he did, and he made this one thing where it was like he was kind of making like a joke about our like generation, like the social media and stuff. And he was like, do you want, like, and you're walking down the street and God, it was a 2-part like thing, but he was talking about oh, you're walking down the street and somebody like walks by, or you're walking by and somebody's like, oh, do you have a moment to talk about like climate change? And you just like keep walking around, like keep walking by or whatever.
Yeah.
And then somebody like goes and he's like, oh, do you want to go to this party that is like it's like Travis Scott is releasing an NFT, and like when you get to the end, like and they're also limited edition tote bags and limited edition T-shirts and like all this other stuff, and like we're like so saturated in like this stuff that doesn't like really that's just matter. Like and like that can actually like help. And then he made this one joke about like, let's talk about this thing that doesn't involve us for like 2 weeks straight for every day. And it was oh, did you hear that Timothée Chalamet threw a boba in an Asian man's face in the park, you know? And then he would react and other people were like, no, what? Like, why would he throw like an Asian drink in an Asian man's face? I thought he loved Asians, you know? It was like, and all this other stuff. And it like that's like what people would talk about and not talk about. Like I'm just kind of like, it's just more in the forefront of my mind right now. It's just like the content.
I feel like as a culture, as a people, the way that life is now, especially, you know, given pandemic and everything, it's just like escapism. Like at the ground floor of it, at the root of it, because like, you know, you go through so much in your day-to-day life. So many people are just like trying to make it through, you know. So you see that kind of thing, and it's like instant, you know, just kind of quick intake of things, and you could just like talk about it, whatever. It's like it doesn't involve you, so you can kind of say what you want to say, you know. You can kind of feel how you want to feel. You can kind of put your point of view out there, and then just move along from it, move on to the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing, and it just kind of keeps you in a constant state of, I don't know what I would call it, but you're just kind of always involved in something that's better than your day-to-day life, you know. Like when it comes to celebrities and things like that.
I got you know?
And that's kind of where we're at. We've always had that in society, like, but I think that in recent years, and then hyper accelerated through the pandemic, it's just gotten like to be a bigger and bigger thing, or a worse and worse thing, you know. And I think that
I was just gonna say, because like I'm the opposite when it comes to like commenting on stuff. It's just like
we still share it though.
We still share it sometimes, you know? But like I'm not like a commenter like on YouTube videos, like unless it's like if they, I don't know, but like, I don't comment on people's posts unless it's like somebody I know. You know, it's just like, if it doesn't involve me, you know, or if I'm not directly correlated to this person to where I can maybe like actually get a response, or like we can have like an interaction off of it, then it's like not worth.
And that's the thing too. A lot of people feel like, oh, if I say the most left thing, or I say the most like crazy thing, I might get a response from this person. You know, a lot of people are driven by that. And at the same time, you know, and that's real prevalent now, because a lot of people have built like literal whole platforms off of that. Academics is one of those people who's built a whole platform off of, you know, saying saying something crazy and getting responses from
other like people like me, you know.
Like people and like the actual like celebrities.
Oh, celebrity!
About,
that's what you're saying.
And there's been several since him. There's been several people who's like followed in that suit. I don't know if you heard about the. There was 2 situations that happened in the past like couple of weeks. One was with Ari Lennox, where she was on this interview and they asked her like a crazy question. It really wasn't like, I don't really want to get too deep into it, but it's just like that same kind of thing of like, oh, you know, I think that the question was asked to kind of get a rise out of her. You know what I mean? And I think it's in that same kind of academics vein, but she got real upset about it. And it was one of those situations, and then there was also another situation where it's this other podcast with these two guys. I'm not sure of the name of the podcast or anything like that, but they had I forgot who the artist was. It's this Asian doll. Okay. I think is who that they had on the podcast, and they were basically just like really shitting on like black women while she was there, and then she walked out, and they kept on shitting on black women, and it was just like another one of those things where like, yeah, we're saying all this stuff, and we're really trying to get a rise out of people, and it worked for them, because after that they were on this platform and that platform and that platform getting interviews and this, that, and the third about what they said and what they meant and how they felt. It's just bad news, or that kind of range of what I would call bad news travels way faster and way bigger than good news or stuff that we should actually care about.
It's so like
same thing with the Roddy Ricch situation. Like, if he made a good song, or a well-received song, it wouldn't be, talk of the town. It would just be like, oh, okay, give us something else. Keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah, there would still be people who are spinning it in a negative way. You know what I mean? And I wanted to circle back to the Polo G thing. Well, really the Polo G and the DaBaby thing, because I feel like just how the music industry is more so what lends its way to them having to make very similar music like all the time, just because it was really weird that they were put together in the same conversation until I thought about it, about how like they make their music like on their albums and things like that, and then I thought about each of them, because they both had a song on fucking TikTok where they were like with a pop artist. And it was like a pop song, and they were doing, the whole
the like, pop, like hip hop, like feature,
And I feel like, as much as an artist you want to do the music that means something to you or that you care about, you still have to. You just have so many obligations on yourself as an artist. You're on your music and everything like that, and I think that that's something that they kind of have to, they fall into, you know what I mean? And I just thought about that when people were talking about how they were kind of falling off because they're making the same music, and I'm just thinking like, if they made different music, what then? You know what I mean? Like, what would that, you might have some people that are just like, oh yeah, Posey's making good music, but he probably won't be, as well off as he is now, or he probably wouldn't be, as popular as he is now. Less people will listen to it. Undoubtedly, I think. And it's just like...
It's like, what do we want, like, as a culture? It's just like, do we want different, but not too different? And it's like... And once we expect like and it goes with like any type of, I guess, like artist, like medium, it's just like as an actor, it's like we're like, as a culture, like we're just shitting on like Zendaya because she acts the same in like everything, and some people like are like okay with that, some people don't see it, some people like, we want something different, we want something more, I'm tired of it or whatever. And then it's just like with this DaBaby situation, or like, do we want different DaBaby, and like if he gave us something like completely left field, how are we gonna feel about that? It's just like, because he's taking that risk and we're taking that risk.
And he actually did give us something that was kind of like left field of what he did, and people didn't like it. For the most part, people didn't like it.
Like, how is he supposed to respond to that? And is going back to what he originally did in the first place. It's just like
you're gonna get hate like either way. So I kind of understand a little bit. Like, if you're gonna get hate either way, do what's gonna help you out the most, which is probably making the regular music that's the most like popular. Like, if that's gonna make you more money, you can feed your family, you can do the things that you need to do in life, then that's what you got to do. I wouldn't just necessarily say take the artistic risk just for the sake of taking the artistic risk. If, people are going to hate it regardless, you're still going to be dealing with that regardless. You know what I mean?
Because it's just like, because when, like when Kid Cudi did that album, oh my God, I wanted to say the Pimp a Butterfly. I
know which one you're talking about. The kind of like rocky.
Yeah. Oh my God, why can't I remember the name of that album?
I don't remember it either. I didn't.
Really none of us album. Like.
But I will say I liked a lot of the albums that he did that weren't like super popular.
Yeah.
Like the one
Speeding Bullet to Heaven.
Yeah, Speeding Bullet to Heaven. That was a tough listen. I'm not gonna lie to you, that was a tough listen. It was,
but it's just like we forgot about it as a culture. Like when nobody talks about it.
I mean, that was 7 years ago.
It was.
Yeah,
but
that was like forever ago.
But it wasn't. It was brief. Like at least in like my realm, my circle of like people talking about Kid Cudi and. It was like Kid Cudi's.
He came right back the next year with Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying, which is something that a lot of people liked a lot. So I think that's kind of, and then that's also another thing. Like him, it's a little different than like a DaBaby or like a Polo G, because he's always kind of like had the freedom. When you come in, I feel like that's the best way as an artist to kind of like come in with the freedom. Yeah.
Like aloofness of.
Yeah, aloofness might be a good word, but just the ability to kind of make some. If you come in different and you go here, you go there, you can kind of veer off and do things a little bit easier when you're not in the the trap ecosystem or whatever people want to like label you as.
Yeah, that's fair, because we definitely. I feel like. Even though we didn't like the Kid Cudi album, we all listened to it, but it was just like, I don't think we were really surprised, that he went in a rock direction.
I think a great example of this is Thug, because Thug is unequivocally a trap rapper, but he just came in so unique as a trap rapper that from there he was able to do, something like a Beautiful Thugger Girls or like a I forgot
Punk, the last album he did,
Yeah. What's the album with where he was wearing the dress?
Oh, Jeffrey.
Yeah, Jeffrey. Yeah. He was able to do that. He's been able to change his name and do this, that, and the third. Like he's been all over the place like as an artist and still widely accepted, still like widely liked. Yeah. And even though I don't know the numbers on the Beautiful Thug Girls album, but I will say I know several people that swear by that album, and I'm one of those people. Like I really like that album. Same thing with Jeffrey. There's a bunch of people who swear by that album. Right. So I think if you kind of like come in and you get trapped in the ecosystem, it's very, very hard to get out and do something different, or just switch up your flow, switch up your style, do something else that you might want to do, because once you're in there, you either have to fall off or, there has to be some kind of like major defining shift, and that might change your whole career trajectory. You know what I mean? And you might not want to do that, but I think a lot of artists, especially today, fall into that because, there's so many more rappers out there. It's getting younger and younger, and there's just more competition at the end of the day. Yeah. So it just gets kind of hard. And then when you get signed to labels, you have that whole thing.
Yeah, you got to deal with that. Yeah. And it's just like, and all that stuff, like we don't know as a culture, as like people who are, as consumers, that's the word I'm looking for. As consumers, the majority of us don't know like what happens with that and where something kind of like comes from, and it's just like we still feel like entitled because we're so far away from these people, yet we're so close to reach them.
Yeah, a lot of fans don't really understand like the inner workings of how music business goes. And you can get so mad, and I kind of like where we're at now in the sense of artists being able to kind of like speak about things because they could be a little bit more transparent about situations that they're going through, situations that they're dealing with at times, not all the time, but like, 10 years ago, if an album was supposed to drop and it didn't drop and people were very upset, we wouldn't hear anything about it. But now, if an album doesn't drop, someone could be like, the label did this, or we couldn't get this cleared, or X, Y, and Z didn't happen the way it was supposed to happen, and it kind of gets a little bit more, it's just more transparent, that whole process. And a lot of...
And we understand more, and it's just like, once we... And it's just like...
Well, I wouldn't say we understand more. Well, we hear more about,
because it's just like, it's one thing to where it's like... we don't get that album, we don't get that song or whatever that we like that somebody said or whatever, and we're like, oh, give us the album, give us the song, what happened to it, and then somebody explains, and then we're like, oh, okay, and it's just like, well, all right, that might,
And even in that, like, you'll probably get some people back, but there'll still be people who will be like, oh no, fuck that, I still want the album. Like, there's still people like that, but it just helps a little bit for artists to be able to kind of speak for themselves just a little bit more. But I don't know where I was going with that. Damn. Yeah, I don't know.
I just think it helps a lot to be kind of more, like, to be as transparent as you can be as a celebrity to like your fans.
I remember now. I was about to talk about the SZA thing, because I just saw a video about it and brought it back into my mind, when she was dropping Control, and how the label basically like took that album and just dropped it for her, you know what I mean? And like, that was it ended up working out, being a gift, like, and if anybody else was looking at that from inside there, probably would have thought like, okay, this is gonna work out, this music is great, so it needs to be out, but imagine if it didn't, SZA would have got all that blame, like, yo, you just dropped a trash album, like, this is the worst shit in the world. But and she probably would have been able to go out and say, hey, the label just dropped that, I didn't want to put that out for y'all. Like, she would have still had to deal with all the backlash and the damage it would have probably done to her career.
Yeah,
we might not have the SZA that we have today. You know what I mean?
If it wasn't,
and it wouldn't have been fully, at least, her decision. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of artists go through that, and some of them are able to talk about it. Some of them aren't, and it's just something that, as consumers, I think we could be a little bit more understanding. But part of being more understanding is being more informed, which I don't think
people do not
try to do.
Do not want to take the time to like. I'm guilty of that a little bit, but that's just like, I'm guilty of not wanting to like read like the full like article, if you will.
Whenever anybody is getting like taken out or something in an article or in a Twitter thread or something like that, I always just like, damn, I need to look through it all before I'm like, oof, this looks like this or that. And even then, I'm like, well, it looks like this, but I wasn't there. Like, I don't know.
Because that's kind of like the thing, is just like, I'll see like a headline that sounds like awful or whatever, and like I'll still take it with a grain of salt, because it's just like, blank celebrity, did this horrible thing or did this thing that was pretty bad, and it's just like at first glance, I'll be like, oh dang, like wow, like I can't believe, of course, like it'll give like that kind of reaction from me, but then initially I'll be like, okay, like what, I'm waiting to see like what else happens with this, like the whole Drake like hot sauce situation.
That was stupid.
Like,
yeah, like, but I mean, that was silly for the jump. Like that was really, really just I don't know a better word to use.
Yeah, silly. Yeah,
from the jump.
Yeah, it's just like we all had that like headline, the article. We like read maybe like this much of it, and then like everybody took it and ran.
Yeah,
you know, for the most part.
You know, the same thing like what's going on now, even though I haven't heard much about it in a few weeks or really probably like a couple months now, but the Tory Lanez situation, you know, and how that went and how that's going, and you know, that's still like one of the weirdest things that's happened in like the past few years. Yeah, like, but it's just another one of those things where like, you know, we gotta wait. Know, you know, so I don't really go out and say things too much. I mean, we talked about it on this podcast like briefly, but we didn't get like too deep into it and our like opinions on it and everything, because it's just like it's a delicate situation for one, regardless. You know, it's a delicate situation, but for two, you know, we go out and promote that he did this or he didn't do this or someone else did this or someone else and go out and start like pushing these different like narratives, you know. Sometimes we don't know how far like those kind of things can go and like where they reach for people and how they might influence a situation or influence, you know, what's going on like in real time, you know what I mean? And yeah, another one that comes to mind is the Johnny Depp situation. Yeah. From I think it was a few years back.
Yeah, that whole thing.
That was crazy, you know, because when it first came out,
it was one thing.
Yeah, it was like unequivocally like, oh, this nigga Johnny Depp is
savage. Like, you know, he's like,
and then more was revealed, and it's just like, oh shit,
it's completely different.
Completely turned it on his head.
Yeah,
but you know, by the time that was revealed,
he was already
kind of like on the downfall. You know, I don't even remember the last Johnny Depp movie.
Yeah, like that
was like a big thing, you know. And he was a great actor, like one of really really great actors, you know. So it's just like news and media. Like as people, I don't think we're really gonna change too much, but it's just like it's just tough out there.
Damn, it's just like I really imagine
celebrity sometimes.
So it's like I really want to know what would happen
for them, but you know,
like really want to know what would happen if we like could like get like a shift in that, you know, and get like man, there's just the things. So many people. Like, it's brought up so many times, but, like, the things we could accomplish and get done, you know? And it's just, like, and, like, to go back to, like, some things that Aziz had brought up on the special is that the homeless man, like, is outside, like, begging, you know, for some spare change, you know, on the street, like, literally outside of where they were. Yeah. And then, like, yet the government is, like, paying people to, like, stay inside, you know, and not, like, go to, you know, spend, like, give people, like, extra, like, stimulus money and stuff like that. And it's just,
I saw that clip, and he was just, like, I remember, I thought that was pretty funny. He was just, because I think he was acting out that someone was acting like, where'd you get all this money from? Yeah, we got it. Just stay inside. Yeah. And then how quick it kind of shifts to, you need to be back outside. Yeah. Now. You know, like we're opening things back up and you're never going to get any money
things,
again. You know, things are still kind of tough out there, but you know, we're done paying for you. Like,
exactly. You know, and it's just like, well, like why? Like, and we have all these conversations about, like, Jeff Bezos being able to, you know, cure, you know, world hunger. Yeah. You know?
Bro, and I remember I seen this infographic a whole bunch of years back where it was just basically saying, like, I guess, like, the top 1%, or not even the top 1%. It was probably, like, the top 0.25% of... It was... They said, like, it was, like, 6 or 7 people with probably a quarter of their money that they have could literally fix everything in the world. Yeah. Like, world hunger, you know, poverty, ending war or whatever. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
just all the stuff
all those
that,
things,
like,
yeah.
famine, all those things could be, like,
Fixed,
over,
like, yeah.
you know, with just that money.
Why? And I'm just
then
thinking.
they also showed, like, our military budget could, you know, we take half of that away, or like it was some very, like, minuscule percentage where we take that away and we can end pretty much everything bad that goes on here in the United States. You know, we just like, don't.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah,
know?
That's the thing. It's just like, why don't we? You know, and it's just like, it's a
just
psychological thing, and it's a thing that, like, has been going on for years, and we don't have, like, it's just so, like, deep in the rabbit hole for me, you know, to, like, go all the way up to the top and be like, fix it, you know, and then, like, but there's things like, you know, we don't know, you know, it's just like, what would happen if we did, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And it's just like, do we get these, like, other people who, like, everything is fixed, right? And then some, like, weird uprising happens, you know? It's all in the balance of, like, the way things are.
Yeah, because I understand that point, because, like, when you do, like, very big changes like that, like if you end world hunger, so to speak, like, the cause and effect, I forgot, damn, there's a word for it, where it's like, I don't know if it's like the butterfly effect. No, it's not the butterfly effect. No, it's just like a chain reaction. Yeah, you know, can happen to where, like, it could end up being a bad thing, like the worst problem, like, ever. Like, ending world hunger, and then you have, so now there's no poverty in certain countries that were probably bad towards the U.S., for example. Now, they don't have to worry about the people being hungry, so they can focus on this. So they can focus on loading up with all these other people who didn't like us either, and now they can fight us, and now they can beat us, and da-da-da-da.
Yeah, it's just like, now they're not worried about being hungry, so they can focus on, like, you know, like you said. Yeah, it can get, and I was just wondering, I mean,
we should still advocate for fixing world hunger. Yeah. But, you know, it's just...
That's that psychology and that, like, thing about, like, things that have been issues for years, for decades, for centuries. Things have been, like, issues. You know,
could have been fixed.
Like,
could have been changed, or, like, even if you don't, like, fix the totality of world hunger, and then there's another thing with that too, because, like, we can fix it now, but what's to say that it'll be fixed still completely in 10 years? You know what I mean? You know, I think that might be the most thing that makes sense for why it hasn't happened yet, I guess, because it's just like, the world hunger is, you know, you might be able to fix it today, but, like, someone's still gonna be hungry tomorrow. You know, so you gotta feed people for indefinitely, you know, or provide them with jobs or this, that, and the third, and it's just like, you get this cycle, you know,
because of course, like, it can't be done in a day. Like, you can't just say you know, give, like, however, like, trillions of dollars to McDonald's and been like, hey, make 7 billion, you know, McDoubles and feed everybody. You know, that's not gonna happen in a day. Or whatever. But it's just like, it is gonna take time, and it's just like,
and it's just a part of a cycle. I remember I was watching this video, and it was about minimum wage and how it affects, like, the economy and everything like that, and it was basically someone who was advocating to raise the minimum wage. And the person that was arguing against them was just like, well, if we raise the minimum wage, then this will happen. And then they were just like, okay, and then what? Well, then we would have to do this. And then what? And then we have to do this. And it just got all the way back around to, you know, and then what? And then we would have to raise the minimum wage. Like, and it was just like a cycle to the point where, like, okay, we still should raise the minimum wage, you know, but people don't really
think like
see it like that. They just see, like, that first step or that second step or that third step, but when you get all the way through the steps, you still should raise the minimum wage. That's still like the best option for people. You know what I mean?
Because it's wild. Because that reminds me of this one video that I watched about this place in Colorado, Crested Butte. I think it's Crested Butte. But it's not too far off from like ski resorts and stuff like that. If I'm remembering the video, it's a place like a town in Colorado. And if I'm remembering this video correctly, the whole situation was that a lot of people, rich people, were moving and buying housing building and buying housing and land in this small community. And so you have all of these amazing like big houses that only these people like are living in for half of the year. And when these people leave, you know, it's either like whoever else could like possibly be living there is like paying this outrageous rent, you know, for being there. But you have the people like the I want to say like the native people, but like the people who actually like work there and like live there are getting completely screwed because like we have like the people that they are no longer having like room to like build like housing, and when these people leave there's nothing for them to do, you know. And so it's just like the people that genuinely live and work there don't have a home. Like a good majority of the people are homeless that like work there, and like they're living in their car, you know, because of this like economy that has been built in this area, and it's just so like it's fucked. It's like so backwards in how like these working class people don't have a place to you know treat these people who are actually like giving them business. Exactly. You know? And it's
man, the world is a tough place, man. Like,
it's for sure, 100%.
That's what it's boiled down to. I feel like we've been talking about the world being a tough place for like 30 minutes.
But
let's switch to something a little happier. The best news that I've received this week is that Safa is coming back outside. Safa is coming back out. The cure to all of this shit in the world.
We were talking
all
about,
the shit in the world. And he added 2 songs to process. You heard them.
I actually didn't give them a listen. Not yet.
No way.
I'm waiting for a mood. I'm waiting for the mood because I haven't been in my car.
Okay, well, I'm gonna talk to the people. Listen, those songs were beautiful. He didn't even say anything on one of them. It was just produced.
Oh, wow.
Like, he didn't, not a word on it. It was just, the production was just beautiful. And, you know, we talked about it in the group, I think, and I was just like, you know, whether it's 2 years, whether it's 5 years, whether it's 10 years. As long as he's coming back before I die, I'm okay. Because I wasn't even expecting that, honestly. Because he's been under a rock for however fucking long.
Since 2018, pretty much.
Literally.
Like, maybe like a couple features and like some background songs and like some like films or whatever.
Little shit here and there. Like, I was just so ecstatic just to see the nigga post on Instagram. Like, you have a phone? Like, shit. But yeah, man, that really brought a lot of joy to my week. You know, and those songs was just like what I didn't do, which I want to do, is listen to the album in full with the 2 songs on there now, like just to see, just to feel that the whole flow of the project again.
Because it wasn't. They weren't even like new. They were new to us.
Yeah, they weren't new. They were on the Japan version. Like, so Japan had them for however long already.
Like, what's the deal with that? Like, come on, man.
I have no idea. Nigga said he don't fuck with us over here.
Like, come on, man.
I understand. But yeah, damn, I'm surprised that you did not listen to those.
Yeah.
Like, damn. Damn.
What else we got?
2 Chainz dropped the album.
Oh, yeah.
That was okay. Like it wasn't too bad. It had fucking Sway Lee on a song. I haven't heard him in for fucking ever. Like I know Ray Sherman is like a done deal, but right? You know,
because didn't dang. Well, actually, I didn't even read the article, but the Slim Jimmy, Jimmy, like he did something fucked up.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I haven't heard about that, so I ain't got.
Because all I remember seeing was Ray Sherman member, and then like his mugshot.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Prayers out to Slim Jimmy. Hopefully, I hope you didn't do anything too bad. I have no idea what's going on, so don't kill me for saying that. But yeah, 2 Chainz dropped the album. I think Doughboy. I don't think his project dropped this week. I think it was last week.
I think it was last week, yeah.
But I got around to it this week, and I liked it. I think it's pretty good. I like him as a rapper, so that was pretty good. The 2 Chainz album was okay. I don't
even think we talked about Rihanna being pregnant.
Oh yeah, we didn't. Yeah, damn.
Hey, yeah.
Congrats to Rihanna.
Yeah, for sure.
And Rocky on the new family.
That's
it. The reveal was just so beautiful. Like it was just so nice to see. Like, and it felt very almost like maturing for both of them.
Yeah,
in
for
a
sure.
sense. Like, not to say that they were immature at all, but just like, you know, a lot of people, even me to a degree, commented on like Rocky's music and where he's been in life and how it hasn't been like always the greatest, how he's not really like focused on the rap as much anymore. And, you know, if there was any reason not to be, that is like the best, like the good reason not to like be, to focus, because he's focusing on her and on, you know, starting a family.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
And
I guarantee you that was like probably a really long conversation between the both of them. Yeah. You know, and there's a lot of changing and developing on both of their parts, because like I definitely don't see Rihanna just like getting pregnant, you know?
And I think like what I was about to say, I think as a artist, as a person, you know, a lot of people view Rocky as kind of like a young nigga, not even a new artist, but just like he's young, he's youthful, he's not like he's in his 30s.
Yeah,
you know
but he's still he's
still young, but you know, not to say that he's old, but he's in that stage in his life where he might want to be doing other things. You know, maybe not like necessarily stepping away from music or anything like that, but you know, you're in your 30s with the girl that you really love, really care about. Of course, you're gonna want to start a family. Yeah, you know what I mean. Of course, they both are. They're both in that age, in that age range. You know what I mean. And it's not like, I'm not trying to say that they're old, but I'm just saying like, when you know, you hit certain ages and you want to do certain things in your life. Yeah, you know what I mean. And it becomes less about, especially when you've made all the money in the world or done everything that you would want to do, or close to everything that you would want to do. You know, you've had a good career. You get to that point, you're just like, oh, you know,
what else is there to do?
I want to start a family. Like, I'm with this person. Like, why wouldn't I? Yeah. You know what I mean? And,
it reminds me of the end of the Amine song where he's like, it's like, why have I never tried like a grapefruit before? You know, after like doing all this stuff. Yeah. You know, it's just like take a moment to like, you know, to like do things like that's simple, like things that you want to do, and it's like, why am I like I have this like Ferrari, all this other stuff, and it's just like, hold on, I've never even had a grapefruit, you know, and then it's just like
Rocky is another one of those artists like we were talking about earlier that kind of came in a certain way where he could kind of do what he wants from there, you know what I mean? And I didn't really like when it came to the what was the album? Testing. I didn't really like that album in full totality, and I haven't really liked his music as of late. But at the same time, you know, I could still find things here and there where it's just like, okay, you know, it's still he still has. There's still like something there.
You heard
what I mean?
You heard the.
It's not like, and he doesn't. I don't feel like overall like. I don't think he gets like trashed like that. You know what I mean? People might not like the music as much. People might say like, oh, he's not rapping like how he used to rap. But I think that he still gets his respect. Yeah, in the most part. You know what I mean?
You heard the Snot song he did on Doja? With Snot?
Yeah, I watched the video.
You watched the video?
I didn't hear the song before the video. The video was crazy.
Yeah.
Did you see the video?
I didn't see the video. I heard the song now.
Oh, yeah, the video was hard. Like, cool. The video was really, really well done. Dope. Like, that's another Og thing, which is also...
Oh, yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
They did the whole direction and everything for
cool.
the video.
Cool.
So,
but I think it's a good time for, like, Rocky to be coming out. It kind of seems like that's, like... Now the whole pregnancy is like out of the way, or not out of the way, but like the whole like cat's out of the bag type of deal.
Yeah,
like he'll be more like so it seems with the Nego project, like with that single being out, and then now this the Snot song, and
I'm always interested to hear how people's music changes. You know, if they keep doing it, because like. Everybody's saying, "Oh yeah, it's clip for a Rihanna album now, like forever." You know, whether it is or not, I don't really even.
I don't think so, honestly. But
you know, I was just about to say, I'm always interested to see how people's music changes when they have like a big life change. You know, whether it's like pregnancy or you know, God forbid, like deaths in the family or deaths of someone close to you, like anything, or just like other positive things, like you know, you cross a certain threshold of money or something. You know, just like how people's music changes when their life changes.
Like being Christian, being clean, like off of drugs, you know, whatever. You know? Stuff like that. And it's just like I remember this one specific instance where when Beyonce just had Blue and like they didn't want to like curse anymore like in their songs. You know, but like that didn't last very long. But like there was like a moment where Beyonce didn't want like any like bad words in like her music, and it's just like I remember that. And this is like Kanye, of course, like did like the whole thing, like Chance, you know, had his whole moment, and it's just like with. Like the content in which the songs, like the inspiration, like is completely different, you know, and so it's just like we're.
Like, when you have a kid, you get inspired by just that whole process, and then also when the kid actually comes, you're inspired by the kid. You're inspired to do different things, to do more, even if you can provide the world to your child. You still want to, if you can already do that, you still want to provide them more. You know, by the time that they get older, you know, whatever. It's always something else to build off of. I feel like it's just one of those things that can really like change your life. And for them, you know, they look extremely happy, extremely, you know, looking forward to having a child together. So that's a really, really good thing. You know, you don't always get that kind of benefit with having a kid with someone, especially you know, as a celebrity. You know, you don't always get that kind of benefit, so it's just really good to see. And I think it's gonna be, whether it's music or something else for either one of them, I think it's gonna be really good for, you know, them and their families and also their careers, you know, for whatever they're trying to do, whatever they care about. I think it's gonna, you know, go real well.
Yeah, I agree with that, and it's just like I'm happy for them. Like especially like them specifically, kind of because obviously because like we're talking about them, but I'm specifically happy for them because it's just like it's like romantic in a way, you know, to see like the stuff that both of them have like been through and the things that they've like said, and it's just like the perspective that they've like that we've seen from them, and you know, and Rocky,
how they were kind of together, and came back, you know, one of those kind of stories.
And then like Rocky was like, oh, she's the one, but I just can't like, you know, settle down and all this other stuff. And it's just like to see this come like full circle and hopefully like stay like pretty, you know, relatively like neat as a because of course like things aren't gonna always go well, but like stay relatively neat. Like I hope they can manage to stay together, and if not, I hope they manage to stay like cordial with each other and not like any like hope it doesn't get nasty. But like it's just like I'm happy for them, and it's just like.
Yeah, that was the other bit of good news for the week right behind Safa.
Yeah, for sure. It was really dumb.
Yeah, congrats to them, and I feel like that's a good point to stop here today. You know? That's a good way to end it off. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for listening.
Watching,
huh?
I heard watching.
Did I say watching?
I think so.
I might have said watching. Well, thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for listening. And we'll see you next week. We are out of here.
Peace.